No, not again. Clogging, the stuff of 3D printing nightmares. It ruins your print, it's a faff to clean up. Ask me how I know. So stick around and I'll show you all the steps how I solve clogging on my clone all metal hot end. Let's go. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the garage. Well, okay, you got me, not the garage, it's the home office. But hey, it's January 2021. Not only is it colder than frig out there, I'm not allowed to leave my house if I wanted to. Lockdown problems. Anyway, all metal hot ends and clogging. So, like a lot of people, I had my printer for a few months and I'd had zero issues. My Ender 3 Pro just turned out the PLA, just no problems. But I wanted to use more functional filaments like fancy carbon fibre nylon. So I thought I need to upgrade the Ender, and so I got this all metal hot end from eBay. So in keeping with the theme of the channel, I wanted to do it at a low cost. So it is a clone. It's not a name brand, but I went on eBay. It wasn't the cheapest. And look, it's German. It's got to be good. So it came, no instructions. So I assembled it, best guess, sliced my model, and off I went. But I kept getting loads and loads of clogs with PLA, which you've already seen. So much so, I even removed it and went back to the old hot end, just so I could get a printout. It was a failure, total failure. But I still want to use the fancy filament. I mean, I bought it. And so I still need to use the hot end. And I've got to make it work with the PLA, because I don't want to rip my printer apart every time my kid wants a new wobbly dinosaur. Look at Ankylosaurus. Anyway, so I've done a bit of research, thought about it a bit, and I've got a few things to try. So I'm going to share with you guys what's worked for me and what I've done, the steps I've made and what I've done. Hopefully they'll work for you too. So first thing to try, withdrawal, that retraction. That was it. That withdrawal is completely different, but everyone knows the retraction setting. Chances are you've already tuned it to minimize stringing with your old hot end. That's what I did. Basically, whenever the hot end goes to another side of the printer, so it's not printing, it just withdraws, retracts the filament slightly, just to stop it dribbling, basically. Yeah, that's basically the gist of it. So I tuned it with my old hot end, which had PTFE running all the way to the nozzle. Lovely slippery PTFE. So I was running about 4 to 6 mil, settled on about 4.5 mil of retraction. But I don't have PTFE anymore, I've got metal. So that's probably the first thing I need to look at, because every time I pull that up, maybe 4 or 5 mil, I'm going from the hot area where it's melted to the cold area. So that's going to give me a real clogging problem straight away, because as soon as I pull the molten filament up, it's going to cool, and then I'm not going to be able to get past it. Okay, so literally all I did, I took my standard Cura profile, which is one of the Chuck Hellebuck ones, 25 millimeters per second speed on the retraction, and I just put it down to 1 mil. Why 1 mil? Because it's an extreme value. You're not going to be able to go much smaller than that, and it should prove the point. Will it help or won't it? And there you go. There's only one way to find out. So this is the first print I did just with my PTFE settings, and you can see some real problems here, a total failure and just absolute abortion. This is with the 1 mil retraction, and still a failure with a lot of stringing, but I got a lot further, and you see you've got through a lot of retractions there. So don't think it's the retraction setting is wrong here. There's a couple of things. So that's about an hour and a half into the print. So that thinks, I think that's probably more like heat creep, because for us to have a clogging with only 1 mil of retraction, that means it's not melting down here. It's melting very close to the cool end. So the heat break is getting too hot. So that means the cooler's not doing a good enough job, especially on the on the long prints. The retraction was fine. It just got to the point where it couldn't carry on and gave up. So heat creep. That's the next thing to deal with. So with the hot end in bits, you can see all the pieces. We've got the nozzle, the heater block, the heat break, the cooler, and the coupler. So the key thing for me, if you look at this is supposed to keep the heat break cool. So this keeps this end cool, and you can see there's just not much interaction there. It's maybe 6 or 7 mil to go between. It's just not much at all. And if you look at the fit, yeah, it's just floating around in there. It's like a mini driving down the Channel Tunnel. It's just, I suppose it's the perils of buying a clone, but it's going to be no good for heat transfer at all. So to try and fix this, I picked up a few of these from eBay, like thermal grease and a little syringe, CPU coolers. So it's used to glue heat sinks onto CPUs, or not glue, but improve thermal transfer. So I'm going to use it between the heat block and the nozzle, because we want the nozzle as hot as possible. I'm going to use it between the heat break and the cooler, because I want this end of the heat break as cool as possible. And I'm not going to use it here between the heat break and the heater block, because I want this bit hot and these bits cold. So I want this to be not the best transfer point at all. Right, let's do it. Release the shmoo. So normally you don't need much of this stuff, because I'm trying to close up a bit of a gap. I'm going to put a bit of a thick coating on. So now we've got the heat transfer compound on. This should keep that side a lot cooler, let the heat get taken away there, and keep this end a lot warmer. Top tip, before you snug that all the way down the nozzle, warm this up to like 240, 250 degrees, because this block's going to expand and it's just going to come loose. Bitter experience. Right, let's try it. Success! We've got a full print off, so we got there in the end. Lots of stringing, it's like a harp. I think I'm going to need to tweak the heat, the print temps, because I think the nozzle's getting a bit warmer now than it was. By the way, we've got to make some tweaks, but no clogging. However, dear listener, I've been cheating you, for this is not the part. This is the part. So here's one I made earlier with my old hot end. It's quite a bit bigger, as you can see. And this is about 66%. Same challenges, but just not using all the PLA, and you get the answer quicker. So good signs, but not there yet. Hey, yes. So full size, no clogging, all printed with the all metal hot end. Excellent. Again, lots of stringing. I've not even tried to work on that, but you can see they match up beautifully now. Whoa, 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 whoa. Okay, so I was just going to leave it there, but it feels wrong. It feels like we swapped one problem, clogging, for another problem, stringing. So I've done a bit more work, and I've changed a few more settings, and I've done a calibration print, and a calibration print, and a calibration print, and well, you get the idea. and changing various things, I got to this kind of a result. I thought, okay, so this is worthwhile looking at. And one of the other things I did was I kind of woke up with an epiphany that the nozzles I was using cheap and nasty hardened ones off eBay, sorry, off Amazon, got a little flat area there, and the normal nozzles, the standard ones, come to a far smaller point, far sharper. Maybe that changed it as well. So I did a reprint today of the model, and this is where we were, a nice harp effect, and this is where we're at now. So still some stringing, but far reduced. We've picked up some oozing though, which doesn't look particularly pretty, but it just shows you tinkering, spending a little bit of time, can have a world of difference. So the settings I ended up at were still at 1 mil retraction, didn't change that at all. 40 millimeters per second retraction speed, 15 millimeters per second reprime, and 200 millimeters per second rapid travel. And I think the settings made a big difference, and also thermally sorting out the hot end made a huge difference. The paste was the keys to the kingdom. So further developments, I think ducting more air and a better fan for the cooler will help cool that heat break a lot more. And there's a couple of other things we can do there as well. If you've got any ideas, please put them in the comments. What's worked for you? Have you already solved this problem? I'd love to hear your experiences or your problems. Have these solutions not worked for you? Do we need to carry on going? So any of that, please put it in the messages, and we can discuss it. I hope you've found this helpful. I have. Even had a bit of fun along the way. If you found it helpful, press the thumbs up button, please. You can subscribe if you like. I don't paste very often. I won't pester you. But in the meantime, we can say keep your nozzles sharp, and see you soon.